That day she woke up with 102 fever, so we gave her some Powerade and some Benadryl. So I just rushed.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
You know my dad, actually.
I do?
Yeah, Louis Mansalillo.
Oh, that's your dad, huh?
Yes, that's my dad.
Frank, he says, you'll never believe it. He says, I have a daughter. He says, she has more money. He says, she don't care. He says, she can afford anything, he says. So he was telling me how prosperous you are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. You're 91 years old. You're still sharp as a tack. What is your secret?
I think it's my wife, really.
How many years have you been married? 60 years.
20, yeah, 46, almost 60 years. Yeah.
60 years.
184.
Oh, that's great.
He'll lower it to 184. You are going to be loved by the city with those charges. Do you want to help me out with them?
Yes.
Okay. You think he's guilty?
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to be honest because you're going to be a judge right now, right? So you have to uphold the law of these traffic violations.
Guilty.
Guilty. You're dead.
Ms. Casey appears in court to clear up a red light violation with the judge. She made a right turn while the traffic light was red, and surprisingly, she remembers the event quite well. Better than most people with the same offense. She remembers because that day was a memorable day for her.
Red light violation on Eddie and Dudley.
Yeah.
What's the matter?
Just go to the hospital.
What's the matter? Is there something you want to show me?
She had gotten a shocking surprise at home when suddenly, her daughter couldn't breathe. They tried to rush her to the hospital as soon as possible, and the only way to save time was to violate a road rule.
She all right now? This is your daughter?
Yeah, sorry.
Dry up those tears.
I know, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You can flood us. We don't care.
I mean, it's quite rare to meet people like Judge Caprio, compassionate and understanding. Immediately she started to cry. He told her to dry her tears and tell her story.
That day she woke up with 102 fever, so we gave her some Powerade and some Benadryl. So I just rushed.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
By the time you finish, you're going to get a citation for 5 more offenses, right?
She says she knows what she did and she was aware. She made more offenses than that one, and she was aware. But she'll rather pay a fine of $1,000 than lose her daughter.
She was speeding on the way to the hospital too, Inspector Quinn,
I
right?
got that one. Failed to use directional,
Yep.
was speeding.
Yeah, she's confessing to everything.
You know what, Judge?
I
gotta
am.
get the.
I just went.
How many children do you have? I'm trying to think of an appropriate sentence, Inspector Quinn. I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
We can charge a violation for driving too slow.
Zayla is her 7th child and her last born. Most of her siblings weren't around at the time. Calculating all those violations would raise to a huge number. But the court is willing to be understanding.
My child or my grandchild, that speed would have been a heck of a lot higher than that.
I couldn't do that. I would have hurt her.
First of all, it's not going to go on your driving record.
Okay.
Whatever monies you have, I think you should spend on your kids.
Thank you.
Judge Caprio tells her that this isn't going on her driving record, and she's not going to be paying for any of it, because she needs that money to take care of her kids.
Has empathy and sympathy for you in these circumstances. As Inspector Quinn indicated, he would have been going around that corner on 2 wheels. Oh, I'm going to charge you for negligent mother.
Oh.
Did you feel like the world was crumbling around you?
I did.
Is the baby okay now?
She's more than great. Yeah, she's.
I'm going to have this fine satisfied. It's not going to go on your record. By the generosity of 2 people.
She says at the time, it was like her world was crumbling down, and while she was driving, she kept telling her daughter to talk to her, so she could know if it's getting any worse. Thankfully, she was able to get her to the hospital on time, and now she's more than fine, which is a relief. The judge helped her by using one of the checks that people donate to the court.
I want you to use, actually, she sent in 2 $50 checks. I'm going to use one. So we're going to use one of Ria's, who sent in $30 to be used for my discretion for someone who can use it. You fit both categories. Very appreciative of their effort, and they open their hearts, and
I appreciate it.
they're all paying forward. It's just a wonderful talk about the disinterest of people and so forth. But it's not true.
To Josie Day and Renee Paulman, they helped a woman in need. God bless them. It's really a beautiful thing to see people helping others.
This is a small way of showing that there are good, honorable, compassionate people. It's $80, not on your record. The case is dismissed thanks to the generosity of our 2 friends. Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Kayla appeared in court to meet a grumpy Judge Caprio. She asks him how he's doing, and he says this.
Good morning, Kayla.
How are you?
You come here to check my health?
I'm just asking how you are.
She's definitely looking for a dismissal here.
No, you better stop.
Judge Caprio thinks there's foul play involved, that she's only being nice to him just to get a dismissal. I mean, being nice is pretty humane and normal, but if I'm going to get a dismissal by being nice, then definitely. I'll praise you if you want me to, but hey, we have to talk about the humor this girl has. Apparently, the judge knows her father. I mean, Rhode Island is a pretty small place.
You know my dad, actually.
I do?
Yeah, Louis Mansalillo.
Oh, that's your dad, huh?
Yes, that's my dad.
Frank, he says, you'll never believe it. He says, I have a daughter. He says, she has more money. He says, she don't care. He says, she can afford anything, he says. So he was telling me how prosperous you are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
The last time the judge met her dad, he told him that her daughter is very prosperous, monetary-wise.
Did you hit the lottery or something?
No.
No? I don't know. He told me you had tons of money. Inspector Quinn, she thought I looked pretty good. How about Inspector Quinn? How's he look?
Handsome. Good-looking men.
Try the glasses.
After 2 minutes of banter and casual conversations, Judge Caprio gets to the real case at hand, which is a red light violation.
Nope, didn't stop. I'm actually trying to collect disability. I have 18 pins and a plate in my right ankle.
After she explains herself, the judge tells her to pay the court cost. She had gotten into an accident a few years before, and it's hard for her to walk well. She has a handicap sticker on her car to let people know. I mean, the judge loves her already, but he's still salty that she called him good-looking and called the inspectors handsome.
You know, every time you come here, I get different readings. But Inspector Quinn and Inspector Carrigan are handsome.
I said you look good. You do. You look amazing.
Yeah, but they
You
look-
always do.
But they look handsome.
Other than me talking to the mirror, I've never heard that. No, Judge, she goes like this. Yeah, you're amazing.
You're from Johnston, right?
Yes.
Is that the Italian flag you have?
Yes, so he's never said nothing to me.
Well, I think he does a great job, actually.
Yes, he's a good man.
She's wearing an Italian flag as a nose mask, and the judge comments on this. But honestly, their conversations are so wholesome.
Standard.
Oh, if it's
Standard
mandatory,
procedure, and it's a mandatory requirement.
But either on the car or on the mask now.
which is illegal, right?
You're right.
Attorney Anthony J. comes to court with a case. Judge Caprio knows about him, but he never got his name right, but tried to fix it by calling him AJ.
What his name is. So for the record, finally, after all these years, what is your name?
Yes. Really, it's Anthony J.
Anthony J.
I've always been known by AJ, Judge.
I knew his nephew, Donnie.
Now, Attorney Brosco, I remember, would be in court, so we're pretty honored that here he is in the municipal court.
The man is quite famous in the law world. He's tried cases everywhere, in the Supreme Court, in the District Court, in the Superior Court. And now he's in the municipal court representing himself.
In this case, I represent myself today,
Oh, you know what they say, Inspector Quinn.
but I have a little bit of trouble hearing. If I don't answer you correctly, for that reason.
What do you want to tell me about this?
The man is 91 years in age, and he's still going strong. He apologizes for any mix-up. He has a hearing issue, but says if it comes on, he'll let the judge know. He states his issue.
I offered to the court that I had used the meter, and I had paid for 2 hours, 9:59 a.m. to 11:59.
He used the meter for 2 hours, but when the ticket came, the date and time they put there was just a minute after. He used the meter for 9:59 to 11:59, but the ticket states 12 o'clock, which cost him another $25. Unfortunately, there was no grace period. Before addressing that, Judge Caprio wants to learn the man's secret.
You're 91 years old. You're still sharp as a tack. What is your secret?
I think it's my wife, really.
How many years have you been married? 60 years.
20, yeah, 46, almost 60 years. Yeah.
60 years.
And with 13 grandchildren, too, Judge.
I'm going to have a court-appointed lawyer get up here.
The man has been married for 60 years, and they currently have 13 grandchildren. That's just wonderful. 60 years of marriage is not something easy, but to make it better, Judge Caprio showers praises on Mr. Anthony J. after he appoints him a lawyer.
An independent counsel about the disposition of this case.
62nd rule is that they have to give a person of 90-plus years that opportunity.
They both get paid the big bucks.
I mean, that makes so much sense to me. Giving 60 seconds to seniors when they're dealing with money so they won't be cheated just seems fantastic.
That defense, and it's a very, very poignant. Well, I think I'm going to grant the motion I'm glad you got represented by counsel, finally. All right. How much you going to charge him?
The usual rate.
Miss Coral comes to court with her 9-year-old son, Brandy. And as our very wonderful Judge Caprio loves to do, he invites the boy to his side to help him with the case.
Now, you're here in court this morning with your mom, right?
Yes.
If you could be anywhere else,
School.
well, he's a good boy.
Yes, he is.
Okay. Education, right?
Yes.
It's quite rare to see a boy his age saying they'd rather be in school than hang out in a municipal court where their parents are appearing before a judge for a violation she made.
Ask you to give me a hand with this case, okay?
Okay.
Think that this is someone else and not your mother. Fair decision.
The honest part is always the hard part. To make a decision without bias is just a few steps near the bare minimum.
You are charged with parking in a tow zone on Benefit Street. Is there anything you want to tell us about this?
I went to pay the ticket, but unfortunately, before I put it in the mailbox, I lost it.
It was $100, and your mom lost the ticket, so she didn't pay it.
The original fee was $100, but she lost the ticket, so she couldn't pay. But unfortunately for her, there's a rule in place saying if the ticket isn't paid in a particular time, it'll increase 3 times more. Judge Caprio asks Brandy for his opinion as the judge.
I would lower it a little bit more. 184?
Oh, that's great.
He'd lower it to 184. You are going to be loved by the city with those charges.
That's actually not a bad number. It's not half, though it's not as close to the number it should be.
But that is really a fair and honest answer. He's an honest boy.
Yes, he's very honest.
And he's fair. He's attempting to be fair.
They do a final reevaluation together, putting all the factors into consideration, and the boy gives a verdict, which is for his mom to pay $30.
That she was parked in an area where she wasn't supposed to park, okay? There are other areas that parking is not allowed. So would you consider to one of those lower charges and charging her something differently?
Yes. 30?
30. Okay.
Mr. David brings in his 2 daughters to court. He has 2 violations of speeding and another of parking in an illegal space. Judge Caprio looks at his young girls and invites them to sit with him.
I'm very proud of him.
Where's the gavel? Bang the gavel and say $30.
$30.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Good one.
Daviana is 8 and her sister, Cassiana, is 9 years old. They sound quite profound, and the judge makes sure not to pressure them too much. Honestly, they seem like they're having fun.
You want to come up here? Come on. Get over here. Cassiana, how old are you?
9.
Come over here, you. And your name?
Daviana, 8 years old.
Okay, now your father has some traffic violations.
Judge Caprio asked both of his girls, and they said the same thing. Guilty. He was charged with speeding in a school zone 19. Well, that's one. The second one is also speeding in a school zone 18 miles.
Did you want to help me out with them?
Yes.
Okay. You think he's guilty?
Yes.
Yeah. You're going to be honest because you're going to be a judge right now, right? So you have to uphold the law of these traffic violations.
Guilty.
Guilty. You're dead.
One of the violations was by his wife, who was speeding at 18 miles an hour, and the charge for her is $50, and she should be charged for not feeding the girls as early as possible.
18 miles over the limit in a school zone. That's pretty guilty too, right? Okay, what do you want to tell me about the speeding violations?
There's only a few minutes apart. I can't be at the same spot.
It's a different registration. All right, you want me to send Inspector Carrigan to go pick up your wife?
Kids are so honest, and it's beautiful. Daviana says she wants cereal for breakfast. Cassiana wants French toast. And giving an honest judgment of the situation, they do need a treat.
You're going to accept responsibility for her?
Yes, I will.
It's $50 for her.
All right, no problem.
You guys have breakfast yet?
No.
No. Are you hungry?
Yes.
What do you like for breakfast?
Cereal.
Cereal?
French toast.
French toast? Chocolate milk?
We should commend what the judge is doing. Just one day of this happening to these kids, they'll be inspired and always think back to this moment in their lives, and they'll remember feeling respected, despite the fact they were so nervous. Someone wanted to know what their opinion was and treated it as important. I mean, reducing the fee from 50 to 15 is a really big difference. No judge could be like Judge Frank Caprio.
Speeding tickets, I'm going to reduce it from $50 to $15. It's going to leave you $35 to buy these guys breakfast this morning.
Sure. That money didn't exist.
All right? Are you excited now?
Yes.
Okay, you tell them when you get in the car. Okay, and you're hungry too, right?
Yes.
All right. Good luck to you.
How cool was that? Your life just got substantially better.